Hi everyone, and thank you so much for getting back to the second part of this horoscope, where I was saying about the potential disadvantages of the Saturn and Mars sextile. And also, when Mars meets Eris in the sky, and they hold a square to Pluto and oppose some dwarf planet Haumea, there is a lot. If we want to see it, there is a cardinal grand cross in so very many ways in the sky. If we don't want to see it, then we don't see it. Then there isn't. But that means hidden tension. That also means quantum tension. That also means that, and this is scary but true, that reality around us, the ether around us, is so unstable that the future is fluctuating. Oracles see nothing. And, you know, a lot of people who work with this ask anyone, will confirm that something's going on. That something's definite. And that's what it is. The future is on its plasma. And it's our fault. We pulverized it, plasmified it, because no one is making up their mind on their frequency. Well, I'm this and that and that. I want this and that as well. Okay, but who are you really? At least make up your mind who you are and what you believe in, what you want to do. What you want to embody in the future. Not you, but your faith, you know. That already stabilizes the plasma. But this isn't astrology what I'm doing right now, so please stop. And Aries, well, you know, this is where people will demand freedom, people will demand their rights, people will take action. This is where legal action as well, this is where courts of justice are going to be very, very busy. And this period, from a legal perspective, is that time frame when, you know, people, oh, you did this and that to me in the restriction period when I was locked up. Well, back then I was scared, now let's do something about it. And what do? Go to the lawyer. So the legal system, Jupiter in the sign of Aries, this is when legal cases are initiated. Jupiter rules over justice and courts of justice and stuff like that. So it's gonna be overloaded and quite potential, you know, blocked from so many cases internationally. Military Mars in the sign of Aries, Jupiter and Mars' home sign, military court, international tribunal and the heavy stuff. So, and Venus conjunct Algol. This is where we will see things for a short period, for a few days this week, on the world stage, regardless of where it is that you're, the world of banking, the world of politics, the world of whatever heavily dense material, you will see who the ruler is. And that's all I'm saying. Venus also sextiles Neptune, and this is really good for artists. This is where, if you're an artist, whatever you're living right now is gold. Even if you don't know it yet. The memory, you live it now, and maybe you write it down or you try to use it artistically and you forget about it. Let's say we're in 2023 and you go back in your notes and it hits you like an epiphany, like a deja vu, like a nostalgia sucking you in, and you milk the memory out and you create something so fantastic, because the alchemized memory, the maturer you, even if it's maturer with a month, that makes a lot of difference. I'm not the same person I was in April. I don't have the same habits. But anyway, and you're like that as well. So that's why I said me, because you're just a different me. And this energetic Venus, this is where we will know who we are emotionally. In the sense that if you really don't love someone and you were not sure before, now you're sure. You will be sure you don't love someone. If you're obsessed with someone, this week you will know that, well, it's an obsession, you admit it, you are honest to yourself, and then you can choose to continue or go get help. So this is a very truth-oriented, but in a stark emotional way. Not necessarily the air type of energy reality check, or when Mercury kind of reality check, because that's where you're faced with the facts. But this is where it's your feelings. You're faced with your true, honest feelings. And the summer solstice. So yes, this is a really powerful energy. Not just for the fact that it's a solstice, so the veil between the worlds is that much thinner. You know this, you know the story of the solstice. But again, going to 2022. Now, if you're single, and this is where I'm going with the spiritual version, not the practical version. If you're spiritual, you're on a spiritual journey, you dedicated yourself, you know that you will never ever live like a normal human being in your life ever, but you want to need a mate. Now it's this solstice that where you begin the search, because it will be your journey to find yourself in a way, despite all your spiritual work, you just could not. This is where you need to know why you're beautiful in the eyes of anyone. And that's not an easy process. The universe showing that to you through a tarot card is not gonna do it. That's child's play. So this is where you'll be made to be a pure vessel for your partner. And your partner will be done the same karmically. The universe doing it, because this is the season for it. That's why Black Moon Lilith is there. Ceres is there. New Moon is gonna be there. Not this, not this week, but the week after, if I'm not mistaken. Just a moment. Let me just make sure that I'm not actually lying to you. Yeah, the 29th, so something like that. So yeah, not next week. So yeah, that Cancer new moon is also gonna be a really powerful energy. It's gonna be a massive awakening, an emotional awakening, but this is where, okay, you know who you are in spirit, you know who you are in mind, by then you know who you are in matter, then you know who you are in emotion, go and find your mate. So this is where you will be brought together. But before the meeting, that act of purification, you need to be pure. This reminds me of an ancient Celtic tradition or legend or whatever, where the sacred virgin priestess had to mate with the virgin hunter. So the boy had to hunt the sacred deer, and if he was successful, the virgin priestess awaited him at the bonfire and they made love, and the child that was born, of course, was sacred. Now this is a legend and, you know, symbol, but if this is how the energy acts, well, you can imagine that this is how it's gonna be. The more spiritual you are, the more symbolic you're gonna get. So I'm not guaranteeing that this will solve your situation, because what if you're meant to be solo, because in your previous lives you were a really horrible person in partnerships. What does that mean? You could have been a mass healer, a saint, but that doesn't make you a good wife or husband. That doesn't make you tolerant. That doesn't make you sympathetic. You can still be cold and not giving to your mate. That doesn't mean that you disrespect them, hurt them. you can be their slave or whatever, but if you don't give that special part of yourself to your mate, karmically your mate can hold that against you. Because it tells the universe, look, I served him, I gave him everything I love, and he didn't. He just pretended and tolerated me in the name of spiritual equilibrium. But that's fake. And you become a hermit, and you don't know why, that's why. Because the more elevated you are as a spirit, of course you won't be judged for committing crimes and killing even an animal. But if you are a not very understanding partner, in the deepest sense possible, you failed. And you may say to the universe, but I'm like that. Then this is your level. If you're like that, this is your level. You will not advance to the next stage of the angelic realm or whatever. That's simple. And you don't know why you're a hermit, because sometimes the blockages are not negative. Sometimes the spiritual blockages are a question of philosophy. Something that you have to solve philosophically with the divine, and that's it. So reach a conclusion in the most friendliest way, but that means you have to communicate with the universe. That means you have to share it with the universe, your conclusion, and understand the universe's perspective, and reach the crossroad, as in the meeting. Oh, okay, and everyone's happy, and you're evolved immediately. So some spiritual blockages are not dramatic at all. Some are so ridiculously simple, yet to get to that conclusion, one dedicates 10 lifetimes for a simple ideal. Some souls have done everything on the list, but they're still proving to themselves if they're lovable in a human form. And they're blocked at that. They can be geniuses, they can be the most perfect beings, but in their head. They're playing this game with themselves lifetime after lifetime. Who is the universe not to permit? If you're not sure of yourself that you're lovable, well then dedicate as many lifetimes as you want to this. Because the universe will use that being, you can imagine, in so many different ways. So it just does a service to the universe after all. Why would the universe stop it? But then that being will get a lifetime where it just won't understand anymore. Why am I doing this to myself? That's the last lifetime when this principle is played out, because it needs to end. And for some people, their big depression is just the principle. Just accept that you're lovable and move on. And that's it. After you accept that you're lovable, perhaps the next day as you go out of your house, you're not single anymore. And you think it's a miracle and it's just quantum physics. But this is why Saturn in the sign of Aquarius is making us realize that quantum physics is something that humankind has used forever. In popular traditions, custom symbols, whatever, we always manipulated reality. Never ever have we lived without this. So the other very important energy shift, well, the first one of course is the sun entering in the sign of Cancer and activating our mating call. But this mating call, Lilith is there. For some people, those who are real profoundly unwise on the soul level, it will activate the person who will take them into ruin. But for the vast majority of honest people, this is where time to truly have a family, time to settle down, time to find forever home, time to get stable. This is where it sinks in emotionally, time to do all of this. Okay, let's be serious. And first, it starts with the self, so detox, going to therapist, changing bad habits, completing that optional operation, you know, everything on the to-do list which has to do with the self, and then going out and standing upright with your head to the stars, proud of yourself, and of course you won't be single for a very long time. But apply this if you are doubting your parenting skills. Maybe in a few months your child will be a #1 at something, and that's your moment of glory. Or whatever it is that you're struggling with, you will have a moment of glory, especially if you work now. And if you, Jupiter, what tells you? Believe in yourself, with passion, with strength, with intensity. Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, you can outsmart anything, even reality sometimes. And Saturn in Aquarius, the great conjunction of the 2020, when Saturn met with Jupiter, well, Saturn, like a babysitter, a responsible babysitter, is making sure that the energy of that sinks in the way it should. It's guarding the energy from so very many bad influences. Because the mind is our most vulnerable organ. And when I say organ, ethereally, especially, not the brain, the mind, the rational soul, it can be tricked so easily. And look how people are using our good intention to trick us, like charities. Save children, save Ukraine, save this and that. Of course, save, yes, absolutely, the principle, but not through this charity, because they're thieves, and everyone knows, let's face it, everyone knows it. So, you know, if we encourage thieves, then Mercury will tell us, collectively, why should I treat you as equal? You're just fools. So, yeah. And this meeting of Mars and Aries is gonna really activate people. So, you know, I strongly advise, especially with families, if there are family conflicts, family tension. Why family? Because Lilith, Ceres, Sun in Cancer, Cancer is taking on the energy. Cancer is building up, and Cancer is also family. And a lot of people will travel back home to their family of origin, country of origin, place of origin, even if just a holiday. Home will call you. Yet for other people, their soul homes will. Finally, they will know that place which calls them, which they always looked for their whole lives. It will be this year that finally helps them solve the piece of the puzzle. And this is something, again, which I keep hearing and picking up from my favorite astrologer in my culture. Because, you know, my favorite astrologer of all time is Nadia Shah. But in my culture is a lady. And she keeps insisting that all of us right now are under Neptune's illusion collectively as a species. So not... you and me could not tell the difference, because the species doesn't tell the difference. We're being tricked to enact the personalities we had in the immediate previous incarnation. So the immediate past life before this one. So we are also that person wrapping their stuff up. So we are also us, but we are also them, and we are simultaneously wrapping up karma so we can begin anew. And the way it will play out when Neptune finally leaves Pisces, that incarnation, avatar of us, but just as a shadow personality, as a double personality, if that even makes sense somehow, becomes us. We integrate it. It won't be split anymore. So we become twice as powerful as we could have ever been, as an artist, as whatever it is that you are. You're twice yourself. This is her theory, but I find it quite fascinating. It called to my soul, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. So this is how it ultimately begins, and Mars sextiling, again, Mars sextile Saturn, work, believe, put the effort in, put the unconditionality in, put the finishing touch in. This is where go beyond. If you are in any job, if this week, under this, and next week, because this sextile won't even be 100% exact, this week, it will go on to next week. So if you rise above expectations, standards, if you put in that little extra, miracles can happen at your job, as a professional, as whatever, as a human being. Saying yes and to helping an unfortunate person can trigger Saturn's miraculous side. That which most astrologers will never ever experience, because astrology is not just numbers. Astrology is a lot of magic. So this can be a really, and for artists, for communicators, poets, writers, if you've written anything, not just, I'm not saying share it, this isn't just share it, Mercury in the sign of Gemini, yeah, share it, Venus moving into the sign of Gemini, the second energy shift, yeah, share it, continue it, but also continue it, build on it, sanctify it, solidify it, be your own fan. So yeah, use this brilliant empowerment. And as I said, Venus trine Pluto. Venus is the key player here and no one suspects her. She's incognito, but some of us do know her tricks. So she is the heart, feelings. This week, tune into emotion. Emotion creates, literally. Feel it already, or project it emotionally, the feeling, and you will feel it. You will have, like, let me give you an example. Just feel the embrace of a person, visualize a person, but of course someone who you have a good chance to come across, as in lives in the same city, or, you know, something possible. Just visualize the embrace, the hug, and hold it for a few minutes in the state of that, not the thought, the state of that. And in a few days that you will meet that person. And chances are maybe the hug will manifest physically. Because, you know, what's the big deal in a hug? So, yeah. And as I said, the North Node also meets Pallas Athena in the sign of Taurus. This is where trust your inner tactic. Trust your, how should I say, your sense of worth. Because everyone has a sixth inner sense. Some people know very well when to save, how to save. Some people know when to invest. Other people know how to, I don't know, start being creative because they smell the chance. They just know it. And they start knitting or creating or painting or whatever, because they know it will guide them somewhere, even if that is not the ultimate path. It will guide them where they need to be. So trust this inner calling, the tactical Athena. Do it. Start doing it. You don't need to slave drive yourself, but everyone knows their tendencies. Some people are, as I said, save, others spend, others do. Follow the small but necessary changes, one step at a time. Do this a little bit differently today, a little bit differently tomorrow. Experiment. Trust that inner tactic. Be that Pallas Athena. Allow her energy to play out through your instincts and through your everyday preferences. This is the type of energy with Pallas Athena and the North Node. You never were attracted to a certain type of taste. Like, I can give you an example, personal example, Thai curry. I found it disgusting even. With this Pallas Athena triggering me, I not only tasted it, but could appreciate it in a way I could never ever before in my lifetime. And I'm the same physical body. But maybe my emotional world is not the same, so my senses don't sense the same things. This is where you don't know who you are. Try all experiences again, and you'll be amazed that you're not the same person. I dare you. Tastes which you did not attract you before, try them again experiences, feelings. Maybe like you were maybe in a, like, how should I say, what's that called, like Disney park or whatever, with rides and stuff like that. Maybe it scared the hell out of you when you first tried it and it was like nausea and a lot of bad. Maybe the person who are now going back and trying it again will see the fun side of it. You just don't let the bad memory block you from trying it again. This energy is so wonderful to try all things, the alchemy ultimately, another expression of the eclipse. Like, how should I say? I, as a mystic, was never that good of an alchemist. I always sucked at it always. So, of course, I didn't read that much and I excluded it from my work because I knew I was bad at it. Now I'm not bad at all. I changed and it would be ridiculous for me to exclude it now. But I can exclude other stuff which my past self loved and now it's useless. So you retry old experiences because you're not the same self. So don't let old fears or old disappointments, in the smallest sense or in the biggest sense, psychologically block you out. Because the world is different, you are different, everything is different. So give the old the chance to become new. Because you don't know, you might fall in love with the taste. You might fall in love with the feeling. With an intimate position or something that you did not want to try before. This is a good period to try old things but in a new way. And Uranus is a massive fan of it. And also, this is where Neptune is already starting to slow down and stand still in the sky. So the spirit is also condensing within us, inside of us. Almost like the mists are turning into a drop of pure energy. So it's beginning to get embodied. It's beginning to turn inwards. So, no, this week is going to be very, very intense. But it strongly promotes work and effort and sacrifice and bravery of any type, standing up for yourself. You know, just I don't want to make this a bad example, but this is where you're not confident of your professional skill, yet you can do it. I mean, you can do it. Maybe not perfectly, or maybe you don't have the experience of XYZ who has PhD, but you can still do it. Stop the mindset and play a game with yourself. You have nothing to lose. Pretend that you know what you're doing. Just improvise like this. Be brave enough to allow yourself to get into a slightly channeled state. And every student out there who had oral exams knows how to channel. You improvise. But if you're a spiritual person, the spirit gives you more than you bargain for. This is where, when I caught up to this when I was a student, you think I learned? I channeled all my students and exams. Everything I channeled. Everything. I didn't even read the book. I even made a mockery that I put the book under my pillow thinking that it will affect my brain, when that is BS, and even I knew it. But I believed it, so I was more than confident at the exam. And I nailed it. But everyone can do that. Every human being can do that. Improvise. Give yourself the chance to use this energy at your job, at everything that you do. Play with yourself in the sense that allow yourself to feel as a master. You don't have anything to lose. And the result, you're going to thank me in the comments if you do it. Whatever you activate in domain or industry or whatever, you're going to probably thank me. But now I thank you for your patience, for your time to listening to me. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm trying to get the new project to start but then I have another new project, so I'll try my best. Thank you so much. Until next. Oh, and thank you everyone for the beautiful encouragement, for the support, for the birthday wishes. Thank you everyone so much for the love. I really, really felt it. Thank you.